Tales from the Brothers Grimm, read by Old Man Kane. A riddling tale. Three women were changed into flowers which grew in the field, but one of them was allowed to be in her own home at night. Then once when day was drawing near, and she was forced to go back to her companions in the field and become a flower again, she said to her husband, "If you will come this afternoon and gather me, I shall be set free and henceforth stay with you." And he did so. Now, the question is, how did her husband know her? For the flowers were exactly alike and without any difference. Answer. Since she was at home during the night and not in the field, no dew fell on her as it did on the others, and by this her husband knew her. The Rabbit's Bride. There was once a woman who lived with her daughter in a beautiful cabbage garden, and there came a rabbit and ate up all the cabbages. At last said the woman to her daughter, "Go into the garden and drive out the rabbit." "Shoo, shoo," said the maiden. "Don't eat up all our cabbages, little rabbit." "Come, maiden," said the rabbit. "Sit on my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch." But the maiden would not. Another day back came the rabbit and ate away at the cabbages, until the woman said to her daughter, "Go into the garden and drive away the rabbit." "Shoo, shoo," said the maiden. "Don't eat up all our cabbages, little rabbit." "Come, maiden," said the rabbit. "Sit on my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch." But the maiden would not. Again, a third time back came the rabbit and ate away at the cabbages, until the woman said to her daughter, "Go into the garden and drive away the rabbit." "Shoo, shoo," said the maiden. "Don't eat up all our cabbages, little rabbit." "Come, maiden," said the rabbit. "Sit on my tail and go with me to my rabbit hutch." And then the girl seated herself on the rabbit's tail, and the rabbit took her to his hutch. "Now," he said, "set to work and cook some bread and cabbage. I am going to bid the wedding guests." And soon they were all collected. Would you like to know who they were? Well, I can only tell you what was told to me. All the hares came, and the crow who was to be the person to marry them, and the fox for their clerk, and the altar was under the rainbow. But the maiden was sad, because she was so lonely. Get up," said the rabbit. "The wedding folk are all merry." But the bride wept and said nothing, and the rabbit went away, but very soon came back again. Get up," he said. "The wedding folk are waiting." But the bride said nothing, and the rabbit went away. Then she made a figure of straw, and dressed it in her own clothes, and gave it a red mouth, and set it to watch the kettle of bran. And then she went home to her mother. Back again came the rabbit, saying, get up." And he went to hit the straw figure on the head, so that it tumbled down. And the rabbit thought he had killed his bride, and he went away and was very sad. Godfather Death. A poor man had 12 children and was forced to work night and day to give them even bread. When therefore the 13th came into the world, he knew not what to do in his trouble, but ran out into the great highway and resolved to ask the first person whom he met to be godfather. The first to meet him was the good God, who already knew what filled his heart, and said to him, "Poor man, I pity you. I will hold your child at its christening, and will take charge of it and make it happy on earth. The man said, Who are you? I am God. Then I do not desire to have you for a godfather, said the man. You give to the rich and leave the poor to hunger. Thus spoke the man, for he did not know how wisely God apportions riches and poverty. He turned therefore away from the Lord and went further. Then the devil came to him and said, What do you seek? If you will take me as a godfather for your child, I will give him gold in plenty, and all the joys of the world as well. The man asked, Who are you? I am the devil. Then I do not desire to have you for godfather, said the man. You deceive men and lead them astray. He went onward, and then came death, striding up to him with withered legs, and said, Take me as godfather. The man said, Who are you? I am death, and I make all equal. Then said the man, You are the right one. You take the rich as well as the poor without distinction. You shall be godfather. Death answered, I will make your child rich and famous, for he who has me for a friend can lack nothing. The man said, Next Sunday is the christening. Be there at the right time. Death appeared as he had promised, and stood godfather quite in the usual way. When the boy had grown up, his godfather one day appeared and bade him go with him. He led him forth into a forest, and showed him a herb which grew there, and said, Now shall you receive your godfather's present. I make you a celebrated physician. When you are called to a patient, I will always appear to you. If I stand by the head of the sick man, you may say with confidence that you will make him well again. And if you give him of this herb, he will recover. But if I stand by the patient's feet, he is mine. And you must say that all remedies are in vain, and that no physician in the world could save him. But beware of using the herb against my will, or it might fare ill with you. It was not long before the youth was the most famous physician in the world. He had only to look at the patient, and he knew his condition at once, and if he would recover, or must needs die. From far and wide people came to him, sent for him when they had anyone ill, and gave him so much money that he soon became a rich man. Now it befell that the king became ill, and the physician was summoned, and was to say if recovery were possible. But when he came to the bed, death was standing by the feet of the sick man, and the herb did not grow which could save him. If I could but cheat death for once, thought the physician, he is sure to take it ill if I do. But as I am his godson, he will shut one eye. I will risk it. He therefore took up the sick man, and laid him the other way, so that now death was standing by his head. Then he gave the king some of the herb, and he recovered and grew healthy again. But death came to the physician, looking very black and angry, threatened him with his finger, and said, You have overreached me. This time I will pardon it, as you are my godson. But if you venture it again, it will cost you your neck, for I will take you yourself away with me. Soon afterwards, the king's daughter fell into a severe illness. She was his only child, and he wept day and night, so that he began to lose the sight of his eyes. And he caused it to be made known that whosoever rescued her from death should be her husband and inherit the crown. When the physician came to the sick girl's bed, he saw death by her feet. He ought to have remembered the warning given by his godfather, but he was so infatuated with the great beauty of the king's daughter and the happiness of becoming her husband that he flung all thought to the winds. He did not see that death was casting angry glances on him, and that he was raising his hand in the air and threatening him with his withered fist. He raised up the sick girl and placed her head where her feet had lain. Then he gave her some of the herb, and instantly her cheeks flushed red, and life stirred afresh in her. When Death saw that for a second time he was defrauded of his own property, he walked up to the physician with long strides and said, "All is over with you, and now the lot falls on you," and seized him so firmly with his ice cold hand that he could not resist, and led him into a cave below the earth. There he saw how thousands and thousands of candles were burning in countless rows, some large, others half sized, others small. Every instant some were extinguished, and others again burned up, so that the flames seemed to leap hither and thither in perpetual change. "See," said Death, "these are the lights of men's lives. The large ones belong to children, the half sized ones to married people in their prime. The little ones belong to old people, but children and young folks likewise have often only a tiny candle." "Show me the light of my life," said the physician, and he thought that it would be still very tall. Death pointed to a little end, which was just threatening to go out, and said, "Behold, it is there." "Ah, dear godfather," said the horrified physician, "light a new one for me. Do it for love of me, that I may enjoy my life, be king, and the husband of the king's beautiful daughter." "I cannot," answered Death. "One must go out before a new one is lighted." "Then place the old one on a new one, that it will go on burning at once when the old one has come to an end," pleaded the physician. Death behaved as if he were going to fulfill his wish, and took hold of a tall new candle. But as he desired to revenge himself, he purposely made a mistake in fixing it, and the little piece fell down and was extinguished. Immediately, the physician fell to the ground, and now he himself was in the hands of Death.